prominent on the paper, and that's where the issue sort of emerges, I think. Matt Schlapp, who is on this program a lot, you know Matt very well, he is taking the other tack. He says he will not go. He does not want to be part of this forum, and here are some of the reasons why. He says, first of all, the deck is stacked. CPAC content, which is his organization, egregiously underperforms on Facebook compared to Twitter and other platforms. He says that's evidence to him that they're not treated fairly. He says the Facebook trending news chief, Tom Stocky, is a maxed-out donor to Hillary Clinton. He goes on to say of the 1,000 political donations from Facebook employees, 80% have gone to liberals. And one more, he says Facebook holds liberal positions on important issues such as privacy, property, and priests. There's an issue with priests not being able to use the title father on Facebook, which is another issue, but it's interesting. So why do you disagree with your friend Matt?
Well, I don't disagree with Matt. I think Matt can make his own decisions, and the American Conservative Union and CPAC in particular is so big that they could get their own meeting with Facebook, and they probably will. I like to go to meetings just so I could find out the information. There is this discrepancy between Facebook and Twitter, two very different social media algorithms being used in order to figure out what's trending, what's not. And one of the things I want to find out is what is the difference? Because some people say, well, conservative stuff does really well on Twitter, but it doesn't do well on Facebook. Well, why is that? I don't know the answer to that. That's one of the things I'd like to find out about. But I think there's also an overall issue with Silicon Valley, and something I hope to be able to talk about, which is, to me, companies like Facebook and others out there, they really prize gender and racial diversity. They don't so much seem to like diversity of thought, and I think it's one of the things that Matt Schlapp is pointing out there. I think that Zuckerberg asking for this meeting, and says it might not be the first, it might have a series of these types of meetings, they're taking it seriously enough that, because in their business model, it's not in their interest to not be inclusive.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you take at this whole emergence, you know, this complaint that came from a former staffer, I see it as a good thing as well, because there's pressure on this organization, which has a huge amount of influence, especially among young people. It raises the question, it gets people talking about it, it makes, I hope, people who look at Facebook and what's trending say to themselves, well, that's interesting. Look at those top 5 stories.
Yeah.
There's nothing in there that I've, you know, clicked on in the past week or whatever, or days. It raises a really important issue and puts pressure on them, to be fair.
I think so, too. And also, when Facebook decided to try to get into the news business, it opened itself up to this kind of criticism without the safeguards that they needed to protect themselves against it. So Facebook created a tempest in a teapot, and they're trying to cool it all down. I don't know if that will happen tomorrow, but I'll go in with an open mind and come back and tell you all about it.
Exactly what you think about it. I hope you will come back and tell us how it goes and what you think about it. Also, Dana has a great piece on FoxNews.com this morning on why she is a conservative. That's very interesting, so I urge everybody to check that out on FoxNews.com. She's a great writer and a great contributor to that website. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Good to see
I feel all buoyant for my day.
Yay! You're all ready to go. Back to you, Bill.
Thank you, Dana.